All right, let's dive right into this article you sent about OpenAI's global expansion. Clearly, you're intrigued by the future of AI, and trust me, this isn't just about OpenAI setting up shop in a few new places. This deep dive is about understanding their strategy, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of AI as a whole.
What's fascinating here is the sheer scale and intentionality of their moves. It's not just growth for growth's sake. It's strategic positioning on a global map.
They're not messing around. New offices in New York, Seattle, okay, that tracks, but then Paris, Brussels, Singapore, that's a whole other game, right?
Right.
And with 6.4 billion in fresh funding, they've definitely got the capital to back up these bold moves.
And the locations themselves are incredibly revealing. Take Singapore, for example. Positioning themselves there, with Oliver Jay at the helm, demonstrates a keen understanding of the Asia-Pacific region. This isn't just about being present. It's about tapping into a region that's rapidly becoming central to the future of technology.
Okay, so it's like they're not just planting a flag, they're building a fortress. But what makes the Asia-Pacific region so strategically important for AI specifically?
It's a melting pot of cultures and languages, each with its own nuances and challenges for AI development. Think about the complexities of diverse data sets, translation models, and ensuring AI is culturally sensitive and relevant on a regional scale. OpenAI is positioning itself to tackle these challenges head-on.
Now that you mention it, the article also mentioned OpenAI partnering with AI Singapore. Is that part of this whole regional strategy you're talking about?
Absolutely. That partnership speaks volumes about their commitment to more than just expansion. They're talking about investing in making AI models accessible in local languages and cultures across Southeast Asia. This isn't just about making AI, it's about making AI work for everyone, regardless of where they're from or what language they speak.
That's a huge undertaking. It sounds like this goes way beyond just translating some code. We're talking about cultural understanding and making sure AI isn't biased towards a specific language or region, right?
Exactly. They're venturing into uncharted territory with this level of regional focus. And then you have their expansion into Europe, with offices in Paris and Brussels. Each location plays a specific role in their global strategy.
Okay, so Paris first. The article mentions something about it being an AI talent magnet. Can you unpack that a little? What is it about Paris that's attracting all these AI brainiacs?
Paris has a long history of academic excellence in mathematics and computer science, which are foundational to AI. Combine that with a vibrant startup culture and a government actively investing in AI research and development, and you have a recipe for attracting top-tier talent.
So they're not just going where the talent is, they're tapping into a whole ecosystem that supports AI innovation. It's like they're setting up shop in the Silicon Valley of Europe.
That's a great way to put it. And then there's Brussels. Now, this move is particularly fascinating because it signals something much bigger than just establishing a physical presence.
Okay, so they're in the heart of the EU. It's got to be about more than just croissants and cobblestone streets, right? What's the strategic play here?
Brussels is where the European Union shapes its policies, especially when it comes to technology and data regulation. By establishing a presence there, OpenAI is positioning itself to be a key voice in those discussions.
So it's like they're trying to get ahead of the curve, ensuring they have a say in how AI is regulated on a global scale. They're not waiting for the rules to be written. They're trying to shape the rules themselves.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And that's a brilliant, albeit ambitious move. They're recognizing that AI regulation is going to be a defining factor in its future, and they're actively working to be at the forefront of that conversation. It's about shaping the future of AI, not just reacting to it.
It's like they're playing 4D chess while everyone else is still trying to figure out checkers. So we've got strategic locations, massive funding, a focus on making AI accessible, and a desire to shape global regulations. They've definitely got our attention. But what does all of this actually mean for the average person? How does this global power play trickle down to our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? On the surface, it might seem like just another tech company expanding its reach. But the implications of OpenAI's actions run much deeper.
Okay, so help us connect the dots here. What are some concrete ways this could impact the average person's life in the coming years?
For one, their focus on making AI accessible in multiple languages and cultures has the potential to be genuinely transformative. Imagine a world where language barriers are no longer a barrier to communication, education, or economic opportunity. That's the kind of future OpenAI is working towards.
Okay, so we're talking about a potential revolution in how we communicate and learn. That's pretty exciting, but it also sounds like this is going to have huge implications for how AI is used on a global scale. And it's not just about OpenAI, is it?
Absolutely. It's about the entire AI landscape. Think about it. If they're successful in making AI accessible in multiple languages, that could change how we learn, how we work, even how we interact with our governments. It could fundamentally shift the balance of power in the tech world and beyond.
So we're talking about a geopolitical shift in addition to a technological one. That's pretty intense.
It is. The decisions made in those OpenAI offices from Seattle to Singapore will have ripple effects across the globe. They'll influence government policies, economic trends, even social norms. It's a game of chess, and they're playing to win on a global scale.
This is sounding more like a global AI arms race every day, isn't it?
It's not an arms race in the traditional sense, but there's definitely a competition for AI dominance. Governments and tech giants around the world are investing heavily in this technology, recognizing its potential to reshape the global order. It's a race for the future, and everyone wants to be on the winning side.
So OpenAI is leading the charge, but they're not alone. What does this competition mean for the development of AI itself?
That's the big question, isn't it? Will this competition lead to more innovation, a faster pace of discovery? Or will it create a climate of secrecy and distrust where collaboration suffers? That's the big question, isn't it?
You've really hit the nail on the head there. There's that tension between wanting to be the best and wanting to work together to create something truly groundbreaking. And what about the ethical considerations? Could this global AI race lead to a race to the bottom, where ethical concerns are sidelined in the pursuit of progress?
That's the risk. And it's why OpenAI's emphasis on ethical AI development is so crucial. Because if they can demonstrate that it's possible to develop AI responsibly, that sets a powerful example for others to follow.
So OpenAI is trying to not just build a company, but build a blueprint for how AI should be developed in the future. And that blueprint, as you said, could lead to a utopia or a dystopia, depending on how it's used.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole global AI race so fascinating. It's not just about technology, it's about people. How we use this technology, how we govern its development, and how we ensure it benefits everyone. It's about making sure AI is a force for good, not a tool for oppression.
That's a lot to think about. It seems like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative, and it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create with AI.
It's a fascinating time to be alive, isn't it? We're at a crossroads, and the choices we make today will shape the world we live in tomorrow.
So what are your takeaways from all this? What stood out to you the most about this deep dive into OpenAI's global expansion?
It's hard not to be impressed by their ambition. They're thinking big and they're making bold moves. But what truly intrigues me is the potential impact this global expansion could have on accessibility. If they can successfully democratize AI access, it could revolutionize how we solve problems, how we learn, and how we connect with each other.
And that's something we should all be keeping an eye on. Because the future of AI isn't just about technology, it's about humanity. And how we choose to shape that future will determine the kind of world we leave for generations to come.
Yeah, no kidding. It really feels like we're standing on the edge of something massive. This whole thing with AI going global, it's moving so fast. And we're not talking about some science fiction future. This is happening now today, and these decisions will impact all of us down the line. And that's what I keep coming back to. It's not just about the tech itself, right?
Mm.
It's about us, how we decide to use AI, how we make sure it's developed ethically, and how we guarantee that everyone benefits, not just a select few. It's a powerful tool, and like any tool can be used for good or, well, not so good.
Absolutely. It's a huge responsibility, and it feels like OpenAI gets that. They're not just building a company, they're building a whole future. And that's a little intimidating when you really think about it.
It is intimidating, but it's also exciting. It means we all have a role to play in shaping this future. We need to be asking tough questions, challenging assumptions, and having open conversations about what we want our relationship with AI to look like. This isn't something that's going to be decided in a lab somewhere. It's going to be shaped by all of us.
So true. So as we wrap things up, what are your final thoughts? Anything in particular that really stood out to you during this deep dive?
Honestly, it's hard not to be blown away by OpenAI's ambition. The scale of their vision, the resources they're pouring into it, it's really impressive. But what gives me hope is their emphasis on accessibility. If they can truly make AI accessible to everyone regardless of language, location, or background, well, that has the potential to change the world in ways we can barely even imagine.
Absolutely, and that's a perfect note to end on. We need to keep our eyes on the prize, keep pushing for a future where AI benefits all of humanity. That's it for this deep dive into OpenAI's global expansion. Thanks for joining us. Keep those questions coming, and until next time, stay curious.